Good afternoon, everyone. It's Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader, back from Naples UW retreat, absolutely exhausted. Um, Naples is a nightmare. Anyone ever been? I don't know how they live. I've seen more scooters and traffic than I've seen in my life, even more than Paris. Absolutely incredible. Very glad to be back in the countryside. Lovely, lovely holiday, nice places, nice trips, but we're glad to be home and be with you all and to talk about something very, very simple. But I know that most people don't bother to read anything. So I'm going to share this with you. I have been wanting this for 4 years, quite simply. Voice over Internet Protocol. It's digital phone line. Okay. It's been around a very long time, quite a number of years, to be honest. And we sort of had something very similar years ago in a simpler sort of format. But it's finally here. But our company, as you will see, well, I'm going to show you, is they don't want us to call it VoIP. They want us to call it a digital phone line. Okay. And there's a very good reason why. They're kind of branding it. All right. And they're keeping it very, very simple. Do we like simple? Yes, we do. Okay. So let's give you some background before we go in. It's the government's wish to move everybody to digital. The old copper analog line is being phased out. Now, in my personal opinion and humble opinion for what it's worth, that's a good and a bad thing because internet can be really good, or if you live where I do, it can be quite challenging. Today is challenging, and it's challenging, I think, because of the weather today. So mine is a little bit slow. I don't think I'm actually running on my 11 megabits. But now, why is it challenging for a phone line? Because everybody knows I use my phone. All right, my Samsung Galaxy Z5. Now I love it. And we use Wi-Fi calling. In fact, if we didn't have free Wi-Fi calling, we wouldn't be able to make and receive calls. We would have to use our analog line because where we live, there is no mobile signal with any network, not Three, Vodafone, O2, EE, and we use EE. But it's absolutely brilliant because the Wi-Fi calling. So the broadband definitely works well. However, when you live in the countryside and you have farmers around and various things, lots of things happen, and we have frequent power cuts. Now, here's the rub. All is good with a digital phone line until the electric goes off. Because when the electric goes off, so does the internet. And that means your digital phone line doesn't work. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute. The company's response is make sure you've got a backup mobile phone that works. But hey ho, as I've said to head office, well, that's cool if you've got mobile signal. But if, like me, you've got no mobile signal and the internet goes, the electric goes, you're scuppered. Yeah. So in fact, that landline line at the moment that we've got, the analog, is actually a very important thing. Although I have to say I hardly ever use it. Now, why is it really good? Because I think it's going to simplify things. Can a normal handset work? Yes. And we're going to show you how. So first of all, before I carry on, let's just say to you that you are now basically seeing the end. All right. Just bear this in mind. It is the government's wish to get rid of analog lines. Some of you might be awake, as I call it, and understand why. And some of you won't. And you'll just think, oh, this is the new thing. But there's reasons why the government want this in. But we won't talk about that. So you have broadband. Full fiber is the ideal, not someone like me on 11 megabits per second with an upload of 0.7. So if you ever wonder why it takes me a while to send out my recordings, because my dear old internet is doing its damnedest to upload what I've done, and it takes a good 40 minutes, sometimes more. Now, if I had full fiber, 100, 150, that would happen super fast. And by the way, folks, I'm just going to put in something here. Virtually no one at home needs 900 megabits per second. A company with 500 staff can run on that. Okay, fact. If you've got a household where there's lots and lots of gaming and loads of devices, and I had a lady that had 24 devices I set up, 3 TVs, she had iPods, flipping Alexa, she had a security alarm system on the outside, she had it on inside. There were 3 printers, 3 monitors. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and not forgetting the mobile phones and the tablets. Yeah, she needed 500 because that's just like, whoa. All right. But most of us don't need all that stuff. So I'm going to share my screen now and show you our partner portal. We've all got one that looks very similar. And I think, if I'm correct, you're about seeing, it says dashboard, correct? Can someone, yeah, thank you. Right, yeah, there we are. Now it says, Lisa, it's time to make that call. So let's click, tell me more. Right, here we go. So look, guys, it's here. As they said, the wait is over. Digital home phone. Now, I want you to know something. Whether somebody wants it or not is by the by. They've got it. All right. And it's free. It's free. Come on. Yeah. I feel like doing a Muppet. Way. Okay, it's free. It replaces your traditional copper landline by routing calls through the broadband connection instead. It works by connecting home phones by broadband instead of traditional copper cable landline. Right, guys, there's a little tiny thing. It's an adapter, very small, and it goes into the back of the router, and even a fairly normal handset can go in. Okay. Now, not one of those. Do you remember those things where you used to turn the dials? We're not on about those. You had to wait for it to go, didn't you? Not one of those. We're on about, we're on about a decent, normal phone. Okay. It will work. The nation's set to totally move away from, they say, rusty old copper system. I do know that the fact is, obviously, copper does rust and it had its limitations. All right. So we're helping our customers stay ahead of the curve and stay connected with a modern, reliable service. Now, will customers love it? Yes, because it is free. It's included. All right. So now let me just share this with you. You must have them too, that you meet people and guess what? Openreach have got rid of the old analog line. Do you remember it was called Ultra, like I'm on? You had a line and you had part fibre, very slow. It's gone. You meet this customer, and you know what? It's called Sod's Law, and I'm allowed to say that on this call because all the people that want this stuff, the young uns, don't seem to be with them. But guess what? All these elderly people that want to keep their landline number because they've always had it. Well, that now they can. And all you do is you just put it in, and I'm going to show you in a moment. So no new numbers needed unless they choose to have a new number. And they can, all right? They can't choose one, by the way. They can't make one up, all right? It's plug and play. It says when we send their router, we'll throw in the free adapter and they can use with their existing handset and no new equipment to buy. That is a massive positive. All right, it really is. They still offer peak saver and off-peak saver. You know, the package that allows limitless calling in those times. So that's to any landline and any UK mobile network is what we call the savers, and they can have that as before, and that hasn't changed in pricing. All right. And peace of mind, a 999 emergency services call is still supported. All right, because the service is active. Now, it says what this means for you, for us. Well, you can offer people future-proof home solutions on top of the cheapest fibre prices yet. And I do agree. I tell you what, now they've upgraded it to one full fibre 150 at 23.95. Wow, this is pretty hot stuff, yeah. Because now we can help people. They haven't got to worry about losing that phone number. Okay, now let's have a look at the facts, because this is what most people don't do. If we click facts, only the green analytical people bother to do this. I guess that must put me in that mode. Right. No digital home phone is Utility Warehouse's own product. It's a generic label used by Digital Voice, by the way. It says there's a generic label used by BT, TalkTalk, Virgin, and all the rest of them. Please always refer to ours as a digital home phone. We've said it's free. With any full fibre or SoGEA package. Right, guys, the first thing all of you are going to say is, what the heck is SoGEA, right? Well, it is single order generic Ethernet access. All right. In a nutshell, Ethernet is the connection of a line into the back. That's your Ethernet access, and it's a single order. Okay, simple as that. Can customers opt out? No, they can't. It's included by default and it can't be removed. This ensures all customers in full fibre only areas are covered. Will their existing handset work? Yes, it will. And we said about the bundles. We said about the 999. What if a customer wants to keep their number? Yeah, we can capture the number during the sign-up process. Please note this. And it will be ported automatically. Nothing for them or us to do. That is good. That means simple. What happens in a power cut? Here we go, folks. It won't work. It says, please advise your customers to keep a mobile phone charged. This applies to all digital voice services nation industry-wide. What about vulnerable customers? What counts as landline dependency? Any device that relies on a traditional landline to function, most commonly medical alarms, telecare devices, or personal emergency response systems. Will vulnerable customers be able to get broadband at all? Yes, in most cases. The operations team will work with the customer to find the right solution, which may include an alternative product where available. So in other words, do you know what? Please don't panic, Mr. Mannering, if you've got somebody that's got an alarm system, okay? Don't panic. So in a nutshell, that's kind of it, really. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to say, how do you work this? How do you actually make this be something that's good about? Well, the first thing is anybody thinking, oh, I've got nobody to phone. I've got no one to call. I've got no list. Yes, you have. You've got loads of people you've phoned and it's never been right. And now you've got something new. You've got a reason to call them and say, I'd really like to tell you all about a brand new product. Here's what you don't do. Are you listening loudly? Please don't start ringing your existing customers. Because if you read in the small print, as yet, it isn't open to them. Now, I'm miffed as you are, because I've got that many. I've switched already to VoIP through other providers, namely VoIP phone. And I am dying to get them over to UW, but hang fire. And there is a reason that the company stages things, and it's usually to do with capacity and what they can do. Thank you, Carenza. I appreciate that. So, yes, you've got customers. Please don't ring the existing customers. They do not want us to do that. This is not going to expand your customer base if you start doing things like that at the moment. What I'm going to say to you is this. All the people that as yet you've not got as a customer, ring them up, say something brand new's come in, is absolutely free. It's an add-on to a brilliant product. And beforehand, this possibly was not something you would ever consider because you perhaps didn't want to lose your landline. Well, now you don't have to lose your landline because that number you retain. So to give you an example, today, you can't see it, but today, there we go, 1 o'clock. Yeah, I got in at 3 and look at that. I was out on an appointment. So this gentleman and his wife for BT broadband with a TV package, £120 a month. That's £1,440 a year. His O2 mobile at £20 a month, £240 a year. She, with her pay-as-you-go, only paying £10 a month, £120. OVO, by the way, a gentleman that doesn't like to switch, never switched anything. Well, I had news for him. I said, whether you like it or not, you're being switched by the government. E.ON, the German company, are taking over OVO. So actually, it's out of your hands. Some things just happen. And if you don't fancy going to German and you want to stay with British, here we are. So his total price was £3,716 a year. With us, with 2 mobiles, and very happily keeping his landline number because full fibre was there in Dorchester. That came down to 2,364 from 3,716. With a little bit of cash back, £20 a month, a saving of £1,591. How about that? And do you know what? Didn't have to worry about losing the line. Now, what about his TV package? Well, the missus told me he hardly watches any of those flipping channels. And I said, oh, really? And I said, you've got a smart TV. I said to the gentleman, can't say his name, do you realise that you've already got it and it's on your TV and it's free? No, he didn't. YouTube, all this stuff, free. And I said, you could have Netflix with UW and get 5% cash back. I said, it's all there on your TV. Or you could do other things. I said, you could do Now TV if you really feel the need to have a package, and it's much cheaper and it's Sky without contract. So lots of options. So guys, it was a little bit of a lifesaver that this has come in only yesterday because the reality is it would have probably been a little bit harder kind of helping him to realise you don't really need that landline number. Okay. Now, guys, look, in reality, I'm not quite sure why people feel the need for a landline number other than it's something they're used to. All right. And here's a great analogy. If you want to help people realise the way that they are stuck in the mud, and we're all there, it's like they want to get to London in just under a couple of hours, but they're running in an old Morris Minor where the little wing mirrors go up like that. And the car really can't do any more than possibly 40, 45 miles an hour. Now, they prefer to have a nice modern car that's comfortable with all the gadgets, that has an inbuilt sat nav and will get them there without having to worry. And they've managed to embrace that. So why can't they embrace this? They've had to embrace various things in their life, like when the government said you cannot go and collect your pension anymore at the post office. You have to have a bank account and it's got to go in, otherwise you don't get it. Do you know what? They managed to embrace that. So this is just something extra, which I feel you've got to kind of be a bit kind as you do it, have a bit of a laugh with them. I often go to the exaggeration and I say, you wouldn't really want to go round in a horse and cart anymore, would you? I bet you drive a car. I bet you've learned to drive a car. Of course they have. All right. These are the ways that we got to help people. So not everybody needs to have it, but if they want it, they've got it. So releasing the phones, would anybody please unmute yourself? Would you like to ask any questions about this digital home phone?
Lisa, what's the difference between, I've already got my phone plugged into the broadband anyway, so what's the difference between that and this?
Well, if you've already got yours plugged in, who have you had it with?
UW. We had an ordinary phone that's plugged into the back.
What, and you've been doing it anyway?
Well, yeah, it works.
Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Really? You
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. It's in the back of the plugs into the back.
I think I'll have to try that myself.
We had the old style, and then for various reasons, we had to get another phone, so we just ran off that instead.
Oh. Well, I don't know then. I've got to answer you, Andrew. I don't know about that because this was only launched yesterday.
Well, no, it's not.
I've been wanting it a very long time.
Do you want me to go and check?
Well, I didn't. I mean, honestly, they're saying it's only just been launched. I mean, I've got one of the new routers now to do it, and it'd be interesting if I asked them to switch it over, but I can't because I'm an existing customer. Karenza, yeah, go on. You're asking.
You know, if I've already signed up a customer, but he hasn't had it installed yet, do you know if he will get the VoIP or not?
The digital home phone, you mean?
Yes, the digital home phone, I mean. So I signed him up a couple of weeks ago, but his installation has been delayed until June.
Oh, I would say, Karenza, that is definitely one. Pass it over to me and I'll get my special team to look into that. I would say that has to be a yes in that because he actually hasn't got anything yet, has he? He's still with his current provider.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I'd say that one would possibly apply. Yeah. Fran.
I must say that I've just done a quote this week for someone moved. It's in the country in Sussex, and it's the first time ever I've seen broadband Sagia 40 and 80 offered. I've never seen that before, and I've been with UW 3 years.
Yeah, well, that's, the 4080, you are aware that is still sort of running on the old system because that's what ours says. Yeah. I mean, mine's worse. Mine says standard with an average of 11 megs and a wonderful price of £38. I don't know where.
But if they've got a landline already that's active because they've moved in now,
they can keep that. They can keep
they
that.
can.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So it's only the full fibre 150 and above that has the new digital phone line with us.
Yes, I think so. I think that's really how it really works. Yeah, because otherwise, in the old system, you've got copper and fibre. Yeah. So it's still, I mean, I'm not sure how long ours is going to continue with this landline that's here. Okay. But it's all dependent on Openreach and whether they decide it would be really nice of them to extend that full fibre from the village and bring it down to where we are. Yeah. Anybody else got a question about this?
I just got one point. I am plugged into the wall. It's all right. Just checked.
Say, Andrew, you absolutely flummoxed me. Right, Ros, you've had your hand up.
Bless you. Following on from your situation where you only have a standard
Yeah.
as opposed to anything else, there's obviously going to be an awful lot of people like that. Do we know what will happen to them? Because is it a case of the turn off is literally a big turn off everywhere? You know, and BT have
It's
to.
happening all over, right? Oh, am I allowed to talk about this? Okay, I'm going to. So, for a very long time now, at least 18 months, living where I do, I am meeting people in extraordinary situations in these tiny little, you can't even call them villages. They're like mine. They're a hamlet. Yeah, there might be one or two properties, and Openreach have not been very kind. And I think it's the pressure that they've had from the government to do this before they've had the infrastructure, the money to provide the infrastructure for doing what they're doing. So, in our situation, we've got something going on in this country, in the sticks, called Stop Sell. Does everybody know what I mean by Stop Sell? Anyone heard of it? Right. City Fibre, you lucky people. Never mind City Fibre, we haven't even got fibre. We haven't even got broadband. We've got people that are in a place where we go to do a switch and we're told, no, they're not allowed to leave their present provider.
Yes, I've had one
Yeah,
of those.
yeah.
It's called Stop
Yeah.
Sell. It means they have Openreach has put a stop on selling. They are stuck. Now, one lady, desperate to leave. Oh my God, absolutely desperate. So we came up with a solution. Head office are involved, by the way. I don't know whether they've just done it for me. I don't know. But what I had to find a workaround because it was getting silly. So this is what we've done. In fact, I haven't got it on me. It's downstairs in the car. I have found somebody that produces mobile routers, totally different. They have antennae and they work with the mobile signal. And they are really cool because they are mobile. And you plug them in to the electric. That's all. Generally speaking, the nearer a window, the better, and the higher up, the better. If the mobile signal is good and strong with UW, we use EE. So go on the mobile checker with EE coverage. You're looking for excellent outside and at least very good inside. If you've got that, you've got happy days. So I have a lot of customers that have bought one of these routers outright, which, as I said to them, over 12 months, £110 is less than a tenner a month. And then they own it outright. What do? They purchase from us through an order unlimited data SIMs. The first one might be for themselves, or it could be for the router, the little nano bit. Then the second, the third, the fourth are unlimited, free for 6 months, then £10 a month. Do you know what? They are such happy bunnies because this works so well that they now have broadband better than they had with their previous supplier, like BT. And one case in question, the lady was paying £72 for broadband and a peak saver, a broadband that was giving her barely 1.5 megabits and paying £72 for the privilege. What is she paying now? £23 a month for the broadband. She's bought the router outright. Okay, so she's well happy. Now they've got their mobile phones that were more, but now they're getting 6 months free and then £10 a month. And then in the future, if they wish, they could downgrade to £5 a month. So actually, we found a workaround. And the little adapter is brilliant. That goes into this router, just like it would our routers. And they can put their handset on and hey presto, they can use their landline phone. It's a very similar thing. So we had to find a workaround because they can't physically move to us for normal broadband. Now, that's an aside to what I decided to talk about today. But I want to say, if you get one of those situations, you ring me. I have had it all okayed by the top brass up there because they knew that there were many in my area, especially Wiltshire, Somerset, Dorset, that it is just ridiculous what's going on here. Okay.
What did you call it? Stop and
It's called
Stop
stop sell.
sell.
stop sell.
That's what the terminology is. They've literally stopped selling that person. I mean, I don't know how this is allowed in this modern day because that's called monopoly. What? You don't have a free choice of who you have your broadband with.
I had somebody who they've been with them 8 years and they wouldn't let them leave.
Yeah. So there you are. There is a way around it now. Okay. And we have the solution. And then I've got some people that are using these routers for the time being until they've got city fibre coming in their area. In fact, one chap, I went to him last year, got him from the New Forest Food Festival. All right. And city fibre is all around. It hasn't yet come down his close. So he is actually got this and it's improved what he had with Virgin. And he's got his TV linked to the router and everything. So this is like can be a stopgap. And then as soon as City Fibre come down, I will let him know and say, right, happy days. Guess what? You can now have broadband with us. So there you are. By the way, this mobile router is really good because I had to buy one to make sure that it works. You can't offer something until you know it works. And it is really good. And some days when it gets really bad here, I actually Ethernet plug my mobile router into my laptop. So just my laptop is working independently to our NAV standard broadband. Yeah. And it's even better because the mobile router is mobile. When we go to our house in Spain, we take it to Spain and we put a Spanish SIM card in it. How good is that?
Right.
There you go. So, guys, look, is that a bit of help?
Yes,
Yeah,
great.
thanks.
Thank you so much. Could I just ask a quick question? Do you know if they have to? So when I've done a transfer with a phone line before, they had to do the other company. They had to do something to keep their existing phone number.
I've got to do anything.
Don't have to do
On the
anything.
order, Carenza, on the order, as you know when you've got your broadband and it offers, just scroll down and there it is. You put their landline number in and it is all done for them.
Okay.
It is really, I actually, do you know what? Credit where it's due. Utility Warehouse waited because they wanted to make it as simple as possible without anyone else being involved and customers having to do this and do that. It's actually very, very simple. Yeah.
Right.
And
So
it
it's going to be easy.
Go
So
on.
people can easily just plug everything in when the router comes.
Yeah, it's plug and play, literally. Yeah, there's no sort of having to do special things or anything like that. Their current handset, there is a little, it's only about that long, okay? It's a little clear adapter and it's quite obvious where it goes in the back of the router. And then the handset goes into the adapter and hey presto, guess what? It all works.
I've got one of those in my back of my broadband box at the moment because I'm stuck with Virgin at the minute. And because BT put the original little socket so far down near the bottom of the skirting, they didn't want to go in and try and connect it to that because they said they thought it wouldn't work. So I've got a digital one in the back of my Virgin broadband box at the moment and it works fab. So yeah, but I won't be with them obviously when the contract runs out. I'll be swapping. But yeah, it does work. It's really good.
Excellent. Well, look, guys, we'll call it a day. We'll call it a house, and we'll see you next week. All right, same time, same place. Hopefully, it's all good fun, and yeah, all the best. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Lisa.
thanks.